Hey you guys, it's your girl Internet, and today I be coming at you with the reaction, and it's called Will Smith just slapped himself for this statement. It's been such a lot of stuff going on, the tabloids and just everywhere, all the platforms about Will and Jada. Like, oh my goodness, they supposed to been like the it couple for everyone. Like they supposed to been so in love and everything like that, but everything have been crashing down and Jada just can't take it anymore. She just want to tell everything. So I want to know what Will have to say about it. Like, what did he say? But don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, turn your notifications on so you can see me. And let's get into this video, you guys.
We talked last week about Jada Pinkett Smith and her never-ending Will Smith humiliation tour, which has been kicked into a new gear recently with the release of her memoir. And in the memoir, she reveals even more embarrassing things about Will Smith, including the fact that she left him in 2016 after so she was the one who cheated on him, and then the marriage broke up, and it's at least heavily implied that she's the one who broke it up. And so then that leads to the conclusion that Will Smith, when he did the infamous slap of Chris Rock, he was doing that in defense of a woman who's not even living with him anymore and hadn't been for years, which is even more embarrassing. So she brought that out to embarrass him again. And now we have Will Smith's response to all of this. So the New York Post has this. Will Smith has broken his silence about the bombshells dropped by his estranged wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, about their 25-year marriage. The Men in Black star 55 sent the New York Times an email saying the revelations, quote, kind of woke him up, adding that Pinkett Smith, 52, was more, quote, resilient, clever, and compassionate than he'd understood. Quote, when you've been with someone for more than half of your life, a sort of emotional blindness sets in, Smith wrote, according to the Times article published Saturday. And you can all too easily lose your sensitivity to their hidden nuances and subtle beauties. That was Will Smith's response.
What?
So after being publicly humiliated again by his apparently estranged wife, he responds by blaming himself and his emotional blindness. So he's the one who's emotionally blind. She is just ripping him to shreds in public constantly. No concern for his own emotions. She's the one who brings him on camera to talk about her affair while he sits there clearly like on the verge of tears. It's an utterly broken man. And she doesn't notice or doesn't care, or both. And yet Will Smith says that he's the one who is emotionally blind. And then he extols Jada's hidden nuances and subtle beauties. And it's true, by the way, I don't deny that if Jada Pinkett Smith has any beauty, it is very subtle. Very, very subtle. If there's beauty there, it is it's so subtle that it's invisible. It's so subtle that it doesn't exist, that nobody can find it. But this is how he responds. And it's why, to my point last week about this, it's why Will Smith is not a victim. And I think that's an important point because it seems like the public is mostly against Jada Pinkett Smith. So maybe surprisingly enough, this based on what I've seen, this may be the only bipartisan issue left in America. This might be the only thing left that everybody agrees on all sides of every side of our fractured culture.
And it is fractured.
Everyone seems to agree that Jada Pinkett Smith is an awful witch. So in a weird way,
I mean, like, my part about the awful witch. I mean, like, we don't know what went on inside those people's home. Like, Will could have been a real son of a gun to her. And now she's just opening up, telling what she feel or whatever like that. It's up to Will to tell exactly how he feels too. But if he don't want to do it, that's his. I mean, that's his problem, not her, because she letting people know like how she feel and stuff like that. I don't feel. I mean, she don't have to do what she doing now. That part I kind of agree. I agree on. She don't have to do what she's doing. She is doing a little too much, but still though, she don't have to be saying all the stuff that she's saying. Like, enough is enough. But she needs to chill out with some of this talking. We understand, like, if Will was like something to her in a bad, some men, like, they another way behind closed doors or whatever. Y'all kids are grown. Y'all have an image to uphold. Don't taint it any more than it already is. It's already know what August, like, and then you had the man sitting up there listening to this stuff about your affair with someone else. Oh my God. I know a couple of men that would have been over there on top of you, just beating you up because why would you do that? I mean, like, and I don't condone violence or whatever like that, but you ain't got to talk about that. Just, especially if you're gonna talk about it, don't talk about it in front of people, in front of the world. That was a conversation made for you and him, not everyone else. No, I don't agree with that part, but let's keep on listening and seeing what he had to say about this.
She's like bringing the country together so that everyone can just hate her. So that's kind of a service that she's providing. Maybe we should thank her for it. Maybe that's the hidden nuance and subtle beauty that Will Smith was talking about. But, and far be it from me to, try to, when we have this kind of unity, I would like to join in, but I would like to say that I think sometimes it goes too far on the other end where people talk about Will Smith like he's some sort of helpless victim who's in this abusive marriage. But what we see is that he's not a victim at all, really.
No, I don't feel
Jada Pinkett
bad
Smith
for
is
her.
an awful witch, no question about it. But Will Smith is a willing participant in his own humiliation and degradation. And I do hold him responsible for that. And now he's encouraging his estranged wife to embarrass him even more and respect him even less by responding in a way that is not respectable. So Jada Pinkett Smith is going to see his response and just despise him even more.
Even more.
And have even less respect for him, which is not a defense of her, but it also just goes to show why Will Smith is not a victim. And this is like we talked about last week, respect in a marriage is not just important, is foundational.
Yes.
And especially for the man. The man has to feel respected in a marriage. He has to be respected in his marriage. And if there's no respect in the marriage, then it's a recipe for total collapse and disaster. Every bad thing that can happen in a marriage will happen from that starting point.
Yes.
I mean, that's where you get into infidelity and everything else. Oftentimes it begins there with a lack of respect. People always say, happy dog, happy life. You hear it all the time. Well, if that's really the case, you need to be giving your dog Rough Greens. Naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, the founder of Rough Greens, is focused on improving the health of every dog in America. Before I started feeding my dog Rough Greens, I had no idea that dog food is dead food. It contains very little nutritional value. Think about it. Nutrition isn't brown, it's green. Let Rough Greens bring your dog's food back to life. Rough Greens is a supplement that contains all the necessary vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega oils, digestive enzymes, and antioxidants that your dog needs. You don't have to go out and buy new dog food. You just sprinkle Rough Greens on their food every day. Dog owners everywhere are raving about Rough Greens. It supports healthy joints, improves bad breath, boosts energy levels, and so much more. We are what we eat, and that goes for dogs too. Naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black is so confident Rough Greens will improve your dog's health. He's offering my listeners a free Jumpstart trial bag so your dog can try it. A free Jumpstart trial bag can be at your door in just a few business days. So go to roughgreens.com/Matt or call 844-ROUGH-700. That's RUFF, greens.com/Matt or call 844-ROUGH-700 today. There's a calling on both ends here. So the wife is called. It is her duty and her responsibility to respect her husband and treat her husband with respect. And she has that responsibility regardless. Like it's not okay to disrespect your husband, to treat him with contempt. And you have a responsibility to respect your husband. On the other hand, on the other end of it, the husband also has a responsibility to be respectable and to, not just respectable, but to command respect. And there is a difference. I think last week when we talked about this, I said that Will Smith should demand respect in his home, or should have. It's probably too late for them. They don't even live in the same home anymore. But long ago, he should have demanded respect in his household. And if he had, maybe things would be different now, you know? But I think demand is the wrong word, because if you get to the point where you're demanding
respect,
that's already that's a sign of weakness.
Yeah.
If you have to demand it, I want to be respected. Respect me. Now, if you feel that you need to express that and say it out loud, then you should. But that's already a sign that things are not going well, and it's a sign of it can be a sign of desperation and weakness on your end. What you should be doing as a man in your home is commanding respect. So you don't have to say it, but you're commanding with your presence in the home and the way you conduct yourself. You command it. And it's clear that Will Smith never did. So no excuse for Jada Pinkett Smith at all. No excuse for Will Smith
at all.
This is just one of those situations. In so many cases, when marriages fall apart like this, you know, sometimes you can point to one person and say, well, that person's clearly the bad guy. It's all their fault. But most of the time, you can look at both sides and say, you know, it's obvious what you did wrong here. So I think that's the case here. Hey, YouTube, thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like access to my full show with no ads, you should go to dailywire.com and use promo code WALSH to get 2 months free on all annual.
I like what he said about Will and Jada and stuff like that, and the way he talked about like the husband with respect, the wife should give respect and stuff. But I would have chose demanded, because like he said, if you're demanding respect, it's already done went too far. But we all have to come to a common ground with respect. I mean, you first have to be showing that you are a person that can receive respect, because you can only give respect where it's due. You can't be coming up in nobody's house or coming to the plate acting all kind of with your ways, and then you demand respect. It's not gonna work like that. And these two right here, it just too far gone. They really need to just not separate. They just really need to divorce each other and just leave each other alone, because obviously there's no respect there. So you guys, you tell me what y'all think about this video, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Bye, you guys.